Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Overcome by My Testimony. I'm a survivor. Today is a very special day. It is Spina Bifida Awareness Month, and I am speaking with a fellow November baby, fellow snowflake.
We have a lot in common.
Huh?
We have a lot in common.
Yes, we do. Disclaimer. So if I get a little emotional, you know why, and I think I'm getting ready to.
Uh-oh.
This is the very first time in nearly 38 years that I am ever having a conversation with somebody who has spina bifida.
Really?
The very first time. I mean, I've like one-on-one. I'm on different groups, but I'm not even that active in those different groups.
Right, okay.
But this is the
I
first
feel honored.
time, huh?
I feel honored.
This is the first time I am doing something like this. And if y'all know my story, if y'all read my book, if you've been following me on this journey on my YouTube channel, you know that I was 18 before I even said, oh, there's somebody that looks like me that has spina bifida. I knew people had spina bifida in the world. I know I'm not the only one. I know there's 10% of us out there. I know that. Growing up, I didn't know anybody personally that had spina bifida. It wasn't until Boris Kojo and Nicole Ari Parker announced the birth of their daughter Sophie and said that and announced that the news or shared the news that she was born with spina bifida. And so, and here now, 20 years later, we are 20 years later, almost 20 years later now, and I am speaking one-on-one with someone who has spina bifida. I went to a walk in 2018, shy, didn't really speak to anybody, stayed to my family and my friends that came to support me on that or at that event. So like I said, this is the very, very first time.
Wow.
And I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but as I was getting prepared for this, getting ready to come on, I thought about that. And I just wanted to say that. And I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't think this was going to happen. And we have been trying to do this for a couple of months now. But today, in this month,
yes,
it's the perfect day, month, and time because it is our month. Every month is our month.
Right.
Spina bifida awareness is every day in our lives because we live with it.
Right.
And yeah. So I don't know if I've explained it before. I know I said we're snowflakes because every one person that has spina bifida, they don't experience the same way.
Right. Yes.
Looking at me, you would never know.
Never know. Same here until you see my wheelchair. Then you're like, oh, yeah, but not people aren't really familiar with spina bifida. When they see me more like in my chair, it's more, did you get in a car accident or something like that? It's never really, were you born like spina bifida? People, they're becoming more familiar with it because it's happening more in babies, that are born now versus back when we were born, but they're still not really familiar with it. Because anytime I tell somebody, yeah, I was born with spina bifida, they're like, spina what? Even spinal. Even my family, some of them still can't pronounce it. What? I'm like, why are you putting in a L? It's not. It's spina. It's not. There's no L.
Yeah.
Why are you creating this L? Like, yeah.
Yeah. This is this very, very special moment for me. Very special moment for me. So if I get emotional, and I said I'm gonna need some tissue, I'm like, nah, I'll be fine.
So
Wrong.
I cry
Wrong.
a drop of a hat.
Wrong.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah, in my old age, because I call my grandmother CB, crybaby all the time, and I'm starting to get that way too.
I definitely have it honest. Like my mom and I think most of my sisters, they cry. I'm like, what? We could just look at somebody. Don't even have to know what they're crying for, and we're crying. It's like you don't even know what they're crying. What you crying for?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, we're all just, and I think it just kind of comes with age and experience as well. So yeah.
We all have been through a lot, especially in the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Girl, do you know we're prepping for a hurricane again?
Yeah. Yes, y'all. She's prepping for a hurricane, and she still decided. That's why we was trying to get this in before Milton tried to be crazy.
And why does it have to have my last name?
All right.
I don't know this man. Like it's weird. But yeah, we hopefully, prayerfully, we will not get it as bad as, because I think it's coming on shore in Tampa, I believe. And I'm about 3.5, maybe about 4 hours away from Tampa.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I have family in Orlando. I know a few people in Tampa. The last time thankfully, we didn't get any bad damage. It was just, some wind, but we had like some power outages and we were without power for like almost 4 days. This was just last week before last. And we literally had to throw everything away in our refrigerator and our freezer.
Wow.
Literally everything.
Yeah, I was just looking on Facebook, and a former coworker of mine, she lived in the Virginia Beach area. She's down there, like she's terrified, like she's got an evacuation warning, like you need to leave.
In Virginia?
And no, in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And she said that she needs $50 because she's trying to get on the train, and the train, which is crazy that they're taking advantage of this situation. She said the tickets are sky high.
That's terrible. That's so terrible. They don't care. Any way they can make money and profit.
The country agreed. Country agreed.
They don't care.
But let's get this started. So yes, this is my November SB snowflake sister.
When are November what?
The 25th.
Okay, I'm the 17th.
My brother's is the 18th.
Oh wow, I have a cousin that's the 18th. A brother and a sister. They were both born November 11th, but they were born different years.
All of our parents had fun on Valentine's Day. That's what the problem is.
Look, they couldn't contain themselves.
That's what the problem is. Yeah.
November babies rock.
Yep. So let's get this started. So the first question I have for you, did parents know before you were born that you would be born with spina bifida, or after you actually came into the world, did they know?
My story. I come from a single parent home. Well, I take that back. My parents are married, but they are separated. And during that time, they were not married. And my dad was like kind of, in and out. So I was raised pretty much by my mom. Back then when we were born, technology was not what it is today. So my mom did not know. She carried me normally 9 months, full term, big baby, 9.5 pounds. She had me naturally. She didn't know that I had spina bifida till after. She just knew that when she was on the delivery table and she was, trying to push me out, I wouldn't come out because I was born partially paralyzed. So doctors, they had to actually kind of help pull me out. And once they got me out, she couldn't even see me. I had to be like, hurry, whisked away to emergency surgery. That they told her that something was wrong with her baby. They didn't know that it was spina bifida or, anything of that nature. They just knew something was wrong. So they whisked me off I was life flighted to another hospital, another children's hospital, where they closed my spine. And she did not know. I try to ask her, like, my mom is pushing 70. So I try to ask her these questions like, hey, mom, so what happened when this went on? And when did this happen? She can't remember a lot of it. So, I just kind of get bits and pieces. So I'm not really sure how soon after she saw me, once I did, get whisked away for emergency surgery for them to close my spine. But, it was a little shortly after surgery where they told her, something's wrong with your baby. She had to be whisked away to close her spine. We don't really know exactly what it is, but something is wrong. And they pretty much told her that whatever it is, she may as well just leave me at the hospital, because they told her she would never live a normal life because she would always have to take care of me. They told her I would never live a normal life. They told her
my tissues. Where are my tissues?
They told her that I would not live past the age of 9 or 12. And if I did, I would be a vegetable. I look like a nice carrot, don't I? A carrot, cucumber, whatever you want to call me. I'm a nice looking vegetable, right?
But God. My mother says it the best. When man says no,
listen,
God says yes.
And I like to I don't even know how I found this scripture, but for probably the last maybe 10 years, I think, I've always based my life on the story of Lazarus. John 11:4. This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God. When Mary and Martha, they went and told Jesus, hey, my brother is dead. Lazarus is dead. Can you come see about him? And Jesus took his time because he already knew what was happening. Of course, the Bible tells us that he formed us in our mother's belly. So he knew us before we were even created. So he knew what was going to happen. He knew everything about me, from the hair on my head to the curve in my spine, from scoliosis, because I also have scoliosis and spina bifida. So I always like to base my life on that, no matter what happens. And I have been through some stuff this year alone, last year, actually, almost a year. I thought it was going to take me out. I'm like, okay, Lord, I could deal with spina bifida now, but you got some other stuff coming. Like, what? Hey, we didn't talk about this part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my mom, she didn't really know that, I was going to be born with spina bifida until after the fact. And they told her, she wasn't going to be able to take me home because they thought that she was going to fall into some type of depression, or, because my mom, she's a mother of 9. I'm number 8. I'm the youngest girl. And she has never had, she never dealt with having a disabled child or having to take care of anybody disabled. I was the first one. And if it wasn't for my grandmother, who passed on when I think I was about 5 years old, if it wasn't for her, she wouldn't have been able to bring me home, because they didn't think that my mom was capable of, taking care of me. And they just thought, I guess, it was going to be too much. So, yeah. But she didn't know. She had no idea. No idea.
God knew.
He knew. He knew. And he knew. My mom always tells me this story. So she has a best friend. The best friend, I think she has 6 kids. So she has a little less than my mom, but they had children back to back. When my mom going in the hospital. Her best friend was going in the hospital to have a baby as well. So I'm the youngest, and then her best friend has the youngest daughter as well. We're literally, I think, 3 days apart. Her birthday is November 14th. I'm November 17th. And they would always talk to each other about, their children. And my mom would always say, if I had a disabled child, I wouldn't take care of it. I wouldn't keep it. And look what God did. God tested her.
Like, really? Oh, really? 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 Yep. That's what you said, Mama? I'm going to show you.
Yes, he showed her, and thankfully she passed the test.
Yeah.
She passed the test. Yeah, so yeah, she didn't know.
So, do you know her response after hearing Spina Bifida? Did she like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, she didn't really know. She just kind of went along with what they told her, pretty much, as like, showing up to the doctor's appointments and going to physical therapy and things like that. But she did say she cried. Excuse me, she did cry for quite some time. And she actually says that she blamed my dad for a very long time. Because, back then they said, it was nothing that runs in your family, or, nothing someone has done. Because, my mom, she never smoked, never, like, she would socially drink back, back in her day. My dad, he dibbled and dabbled in some things. But the doctor told her, no, it was nothing someone did. It was just something that happened, something that was just meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah, my speaking of, there we go again. My favorite story in the Bible is from John, with John 9. That is the actual the chapter that helped me accept having spina bifida. I was 12 years old. 12 years old. Somebody from that, and they don't remember the scripture. I mean, don't remember their sermon title. Don't remember what they preached about. But I know they came from John 9. And my mother always asked the question, why did this happen? Why did this have to happen? I asked the question, why did this have to happen? It's happened for the glory of God, to show, to be displayed in his life. And I was like,
right.
Oh, okay. And guess what?
Yeah.
Yesterday, one of my pastors preached from that saying, I was just like, that's how you start Spina Bifida Awareness. That's how you do the first Sunday of Spina Bifida Awareness Month.
Wow. Yes, and that's amazing.
I have a dress that has the title of my book on it, and I wore it yesterday.
Oh,
all orchestrated by God, because I was just like, oh, okay. And everybody kept complimenting me on it, and I'm just like, I wore this before, but okay, it works. What type were you born with?
I was born with myelomeningocele.
And can you explain for the viewers what
you were saying? Explain what myelomeningocele is. Yeah. To be honest, I don't really know exact. Well, I just know my experience.
Myelomeningocele is the most common and severe type of spina bifida. In babies born with this type of spina bifida, a sac of fluid protrudes through the opening of the baby's back, and part of the spinal cord and viable nerves in this are damaged. Myelomeningocele can result in the person living with moderate to more severe effects, such as how the person uses the bathroom, the feeling or lack thereof in the person's legs, and/or not being able to move the legs at all. Such a person has to use mobility aids to assist in getting around: walkers, wheelchairs, scooters, and/or braces with crutches.
Yes, so I was basically born with my spinal cord on the outside of my body. Well, that's how my mom explains it. I don't really have like a lot of pictures. She didn't take pictures or anything like that. But from my understanding, she said that my spinal cord, you could literally see my flesh, and my spina bifida is at the lower part of my spine. So it was like, she calls it like a bubble. It was like a bubble that was sitting on the back bottom of my, like almost to my rear end, my buttocks.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry. Long as they're tears of joy, that's all.
They're tears of joy. They're tears of just just hearing your story, and just like I said, this is the first time I'm having a conversation like this, so it's overwhelming. That's the word. It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
overwhelming because
I understand.
Even though we're literally snowflakes, because my bubble, my father said, was in the operating room. He saw me before my mother saw me. He saw me before my mother saw me. She had a C-section. I was 6'3". And he saw the bubble. He saw the bubble. It's at the lower of my back, lesion L45. And where you are in a chair, you use a chair. I don't. And see,
that's why it's called a snowflake birth defect, because no two cases are the same. And believe it or not, thankfully, I'm not confined to my chair.
Okay.
I can get up. I can't just like get up and just walk on my own. I used to be able to, but when I think I was in the 5th grade, so I had to be about 10 years old. I had a surgery called a spinal fusion, where they wanted to go in and correct the scoliosis that was developing. So I have a metal rod and screws on my spine at the lower part of my spine. So before I had that surgery, I was actually walking on my own, but I had like what I like to call, it was like a little penguin waddle. So I would walk kind of like side to side. And once I had that surgery, it kind of, did take my ability of walking, most of my ability of walking away.
So you're ambulatory.
Yeah. I'm ambulatory. I can, transfer with no problem. I can climb stairs. I don't let it stop me, I find a way to do things, although I use a wheelchair, I don't let it stop me, from doing anything.
Do you use anything other than a chair? Do you use like crutches or the walking sticks?
I used to. Now I just use my chair. The older I've gotten, and I before I had that surgery, it just kind of like threw everything off. But I do physical therapy. I haven't really been in physical therapy since, the whole diagnosis and everything, that I don't really want to say it now, because I know you have questions that'll lead up to that. But I've been in physical therapy. I've had the AFO leg braces, I've had the walkers, and I've actually been trying to get another walker to, try to be more active. But insurance, they're just a conversation in itself. But yeah, so I've used all of it over the years. I've used all of it, but for the past oh gosh, probably the past 15 years or so, it's been my chair.
By normal standards, what did the doctors say would be your limitations? And forgive my ignorance if I'm using that word and it offends, because I know some people that are ambulatory or disabled, they get offended by certain words, and it's not a limitation for them because that's all they know. So I use that word. Y'all that watch this video that may be disabled or ambulatory, using it in ignorance, I don't mean to offend.
Right, yes. And I always tell people, the only word that really offends me is handicap. I'm not handicapped by any means. I am a person with a disability. Sometimes I'll say disabled, because if you know anything about Social Security, you go in there telling them people you're not disabled, you know what's going to happen. you know, and with the benefits and things like that. And I'm not even talking about the money part, because they don't even give you enough to even live, honestly. But as far as like
they won't even approve me.
Girl, now I get it. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not ashamed of it, you know. But I still have to prove that I'm disabled. I'm like, really? So you just
I rolled in here.
Yeah, like you just think I'm just sitting in this chair just for the heck of it because I want to, like. But hey, you know, I do it because you know that's required. Well, that's what's required of me. But I don't really have an issue with, like, I had a T-shirt line, and it was called Disabled but Still Determined. You know, and it was not really putting a label on myself. It was just pretty much letting people know, you know, yeah, I have this birth defect, but I don't allow it to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve and do what I want to do in life. So I'm not really offended by much when it comes to my disability, my physical disability.
And I've had somebody be offended by me using the word birth defect. Like, I was talking to somebody last year about me and told them I was born with a birth defect caused by birth defect. God don't make birth defects. Well, what do you call it, ma'am? That was the prayer term I've been using for 36 years. It was 36 at 36 years.
Wow.
Like, I was like,
people just find any way to be offended for whatever reason. It's ridiculous. It
she
really
was an able-bodied person. Like, I'm just like, that I know of, like, never knowing what her. I'm just like, I don't think God is mad that I said birth defect. That's what it's called. That's what the people. That's exactly the term. What else am I supposed to use? Exactly. I'm not offending God. I don't mean to offend God. Never. Like, right, ma'am, calm down.
Right. Yeah. It's some people just really blow me. Like, yeah, just chill. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah. Spiritualize. A lot of people church like to spiritualize things for no reason. Like, nobody's offended. I'm not offending God. I don't think he's offended. That's the term that man has used. And right, he gives us free will. And that's the free will that we use. Lord, if there's another word, let us know. So we'll use it if you're offended by saying birth defect. And I'm not even of the thought that he did it. He allowed it.
Allowed it. Yep.
He allowed it because he's perfect. He's perfect. And we are born in iniquity. Right. And born sinners. Right. Born into sin. So we are perfect, but he allowed this to happen to show his glory in my life and in your life.
Yep. And I'm like, who am I to question that? Yeah. And you know, things could be so much worse. Like, we could, I mean, I don't know what was said for you, but I could really have been what doctor said I was going to be. But because God saw fit for that not to happen, who am I to question him, you know? So, but people look at me like I'm crazy when I say stuff like that. But to each his own.
Yeah. When I tell them the doctor said I wouldn't walk, talk, be mentally challenged, be like, what?
Yeah, same here.
Well, here you go.
They said I would have learning disability. Now, hey, I can't stand math.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know that sometimes people, excuse me, some people with spina bifida can even have issues with either English or math. I love English, but then you start talking to me about too many numbers and stuff. Oh no, you lost me. All I need to know is how to count my money, and I have to do that over like 5 times sometimes.
Well, I may not know my grammar properly, but I was good in math. I was good in math. But when I got to college and had to take those college courses, but I took college courses in high school. But when I actually got to college and had a teacher with an accent, just like, sir, what are you saying? I don't know. So I don't know this math. I got my first C. in math.
Yeah, I had a teacher that was Haitian.
Yep, my teacher was
I was like,
from
man,
Africa.
what? I dropped that class so fast. I was like, nope, can't do it. I can't even understand what she's saying.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I don't.
Where were we? What
I
did the
think
doctor? I think you kind of answered it. What did the doctor say would be your limitations, and what are your actual limitations? Would you even call them limitations?
So my limitations were, pretty much what doctors said that, I wouldn't walk. I think they said that I would have an issue talking. I would have multiple learning disabilities. I would have social issues. I would never be able to live on my own. I would never be able to work, all those different things. And that is so far from the truth. The only limitations are really the ones that we put on ourselves. But I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be cliche, but my only limitations are physical, that I can't walk on my own, pretty much. And I have a little issue with doing math. I think those are don't get me wrong, I know how to do the simple stuff, but when you start getting to the calculus and the trigonometry and even some of the algebra, I'm like, what? Like, because I have a nephew that's in like the 4th grade. And the work he brings home, he always, he asks me to help. I'm like, oh, no, you don't want me to help. Get somebody else to do it. Because I'm like, I can do it. 4th grade. What are they teaching these kids? But it's good that they're learning. But then at the same time, it's like their young brains can't take all of that. But
And then now that we're older, it was like, what are we using it for?
Nothing at all. I'm not trying to be an accountant or anything, a mathematician. No, I'm not trying to do any of that. So why did I even need to know any of that? Honestly, I just needed to know the basics, really. But yeah, but that's really the only limitations that I really have are the physical.
Would you call them limitations?
Yeah, because not being able to, and I'm not one of those people where I say, God, why did you make me like this? Like, I've never really questioned him about spina bifida. Now, I've questioned him about some other stuff, but not, spina bifida in particular. I don't know, but like not being able to physically get up and walk and do certain things on my own, that can be a bummer sometimes. Like I have, for whatever reason, a few of my siblings and my niece and nephew, they want to move on the 3rd floor in, their apartment building. I'm like, really? I understand, I don't pay your bills or anything like that, but you could have kept me in mind.
Yeah.
You could have kept me in mind. Like, we do family things together, celebrate birthdays, holidays. And, sometimes they have it at their apartments and things like that. So we go over. And I got the huff and puff and take breaks going up the step. I'm like, y'all could have just, I think I'm going to just sit this one out. Because, yeah. But that's really the only limitation that I could think of.
Yeah. And truth be told, I got in a car. I've been in 4 car accidents. And almost today, somebody tried to hit me backing out of their parking space. But anyway, I got in a car accident in 2022 and was rear-ended. And if I didn't like walking up the stairs before then, I definitely don't like walking up the stairs now. Like, it messed my whole back up. Never really had problems with my spina bifida or anything. But that accident kicked it in. I'm starting to feel, I don't like this. In my house, I'm getting a ranch.
I heard that. Like we had to, when we evacuated, we left my mom's home and my apartment for to go to one of my sister's houses for the storm week before last. And she lives on the 3rd floor. And I told them, I was like, when I get up there, I'm not coming back down. If I come back down, I'm going home. And that's exactly what I did, because that's just too many stairs. Like, what in the world? Sometimes, just seeing people, well, no, they don't. My family, they don't go up, walk up the steps with no complaints, even though they're good, well, and able. They go up there complaining too, like, girl, why did you move? They don't have any physical limitations or no nothing. And they like, girl, I ain't coming here anymore. That's just too many stairs. That's crazy. It's too many stairs for them not to have an elevator.
At what age did you know that you had SB, spina bifida? And how did your mom explain it to you?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know what, so when I was growing up, I told you I come from a big family. I have 8 siblings. And I'm the only one that has, a disability. And I live my life just like they live theirs. And I was a lot more active when I was younger. So I was on, the walkers and the AFOs. So my siblings, they would be up the street and around the corner, and I would be up the street around the corner. So I never really adapted to that mentality, and I never really gave my life with spina bifida a second thought. So I don't even know what age I realized that I had it. I just know, like, I lived in a doctor when I was younger. Like, I would literally have to go see a doctor from my head to my toes when I was younger. But I don't know when I realized that I had spina bifida. I don't know. That may sound weird, but I don't know.
So speaking of head to your toes, do you have anything else that came with it other than the scoliosis? Do you have the hydrocephalus? Did you have club feet? Do you have club feet? I have hydrocephalus, and I was born with club feet.
So thankfully, I do not have hydrocephalus, because I said, God, He knows what to give you, because He knew I couldn't. The whole shunt situation. Oh no, I don't think I would.
Yeah, that was a doozy in 1995. I got really sick during the summer. I was throwing up, having seizures. Wow. Took my whole summer.
See, He knew I probably couldn't handle that.
It wasn't easy.
Because I think since I've been through what I've been through, I think I have probably PTSD. I'm what they call it, a hypochondriac.
Hypochondriac.
Yeah, so I probably be like, oh, my head hurt, my shunt. So I'm so glad that, and it's crazy, because I didn't start meeting other people with spina bifida until I think it was recently, like within the last 10 years or so, when social media started, popping more. And because I just knew the ones that I went to school with, and that was only like a handful of people. And I thought everybody had a shunt except me. So I'm learning, like, all these different people that, have spina bifida, and they're saying, they have shunts. So I went to my doctor. I was like, am I supposed to have a shunt? Why didn't y'all give me one? Where is it? Like, am I supposed to have one? And they were like, no, we bind, you, according to your files, they said that I didn't have enough, fluid or something on my brain to require one. So I was like, okay, well, tell me something, because I thought I was being left out. Like, do I need a shunt? Like, do we need to go ahead and set this up? Because I didn't know.
Yeah, I interviewed my father, did the documentary myself about my life. And or maybe this was another interview I did with him. He said that they were going back. They were told that I had the hydrocephalus, and they were trying to decide whether or not to do the surgery. And there was a baby in the hospital that had hydrocephalus. Head was huge, and the parents didn't want to do it, even with his head being huge. And my father said, "Nope." My parents said, "Nope, we gonna do that. We're not gonna put my baby through that."
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I've seen extreme cases of hydrocephalus.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine. With what I went through in '95, I couldn't imagine. Terrible headache. Terrible.
Yeesh.
Worst headache I've had ever in life. Had one when I had COVID a couple years ago. But before then, before having COVID, I never had really headaches. And then every time I had, like you, starting to get like, it's like, oh, it's just
what's going on? Yeah.
It's just a headache. You good, Rashon. It's just a headache. You probably a little stressed out. Your pressure probably a little high. Your pressure probably a little high. Calm down for a second. Take a breather.
Hey, I heard that. Hey, tell me what's going on. I'll start Googling stuff. My doctor be like, Miss Milton, stay off of Google. I'm like, okay, but still be on there. Hey, I need to let Google tell it you done had about 5 strokes, 8 heart attacks, and you got a brain injury. I'm like, you know what? Let me just stop because I'm just making it worse on myself.
Yeah. How was going to school for you? Did you experience bullying, peers asking questions? Were your peers understanding for the most part? If not, how did you deal with it and handle it?
I don't know what it is, but I had an amazing childhood.
Good.
I don't know, like, even now, because a lot of people that I went to elementary school with, I went to middle school with. A lot of people I went to middle school with, I went to high school with. And I don't know, like, I've always been like what they call a girl's girl. You know, I love making friends. I'm a very friendly, vivacious, you know, I have a very outgoing personality. I mean, I can get quiet sometimes, but I'm not quiet for the most part. So I've always been like, people are drawn to me for whatever reason, you know, and I never pretty much that's the only, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, you know. But when I was growing up in school, I think I had like maybe one bullying incident. Well, no, I say like maybe a handful, but it wasn't really. It was other people that had disabilities as well. Like, how you gonna? We're the same, like almost the same. We may not have the same birth defect or whatever situation, but come on now. But so it was never really any like real bullying or anything like that. Thankfully, no, I haven't really had to deal with bullying. You know, I know a lot of people who have, but thankfully that's not my testimony. You know, I had amazing friends that, you know, like people I used to hang with and who would befriend me in school before, you know, they'd be like, you know, not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not conceited or anything like that, but they would literally call me the pretty girl in the wheelchair in school. And then I, you know, I have a lot of sisters. So, and I'm the youngest. So it would always look like when they would pass their clothes down to me, it always looked like I had new clothes. So, you know, I was always the one to keep myself together. And, you know, my mom, she raised me with, you know, proper hygiene and how to take care of myself and these things. So, you know, people drew to that because I wasn't their typical disabled person, you know, what they think a disabled person is supposed to look like, you know. So I had a pretty nice childhood, you know, growing up.
So we want go back and let me know if this is getting to your business too much.
No problem.
I know me, and some other people who are snowflakes.
Mm-hmm.
We have no bladder or bowel control. Is that your story?
Girl, we ain't gonna get on that. It's a head ache and a half.
And a half.
Times 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, thankfully, I don't really have accidents or anything like that. Sometimes, every now and then, I'm not ashamed to talk about it because it can happen. Life can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It can be you tomorrow that needs your behind light,
Mm-hmm.
or needs, help going to the bathroom. So, I mean, I'm not ashamed. Hey, ask away. But yeah, the whole bout, oh my God. I used to self-calf because I didn't.
Don't.
Girl. So yeah, I used to do, and I had frequent UTI. I think if I had $1 for every time I had a UTI, I would be wealthy. So I don't calf anymore. I won't. I keep trying to refrain from
You
going
said it, but
that.
I can do some.
I don't. Yeah. So but the bowel thing, I don't really have like a system. I just kind of know my triggers.
Okay.
Like what I can eat if I'm feeling, because I don't know about you, but I deal with some constipation.
Mm-hmm.
And
at night when I'm asleep, when I can't go, always at night. It'd be the worst. Like, why? I'm trying to go to sleep. Why you want me digestive system? Why you want me to get up right now while I'm asleep and nothing is coming out? You want to come out, but you ain't coming out. I want to
go. Like you had all day to do whatever you needed to do. you wait till 11:30, 1:00 in the morning to want to. Yeah, trust me.
And then don't come out until it's time for me to actually.
Girl, no. You know what used to happen to me, and I pray to God I'm not jinxing myself. So, like once or twice a year, I would get like out of the blue. I don't think I even really had to eat certain things or anything like that. I could be knocked out sleep. It could be like 1:00, 6:00 in the morning, something like that. My stomach go, oh God, I got to hurry up, go to the bathroom. And I would literally have like a blowout, pretty much, out of the blue.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember one time, not trying to get too graphic, but I went to a seafood restaurant, knowing I didn't need to eat that seafood, but I didn't think it would tear me up like that. Mm-hmm. And we were I was with my mom and my baby brother. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. And we were in the Uber on the way home. I think I only had like some shrimp. I didn't even like go full force. And we were in the Uber and we were probably about 10, 15 minutes away from home. And all of a sudden I just got hot. And it was like nighttime, so it was pretty cool. And the Uber driver is driving. My mom was in the front seat, and me and my baby brother, we were in the back seat. And we had just gone grocery shopping too. And I was like, I'm hot. I need some water. Can you just give me some water? So my mom was like, asking the Uber driver. She was like, well, can I just reach back there and give my daughter some water? And the driver was like, yeah, And I got the water and I started drinking the water. And I was like, that's not helping. I'm hot. Like, can you just roll the window down? And she rolled the window. She rolled the window down. I had to literally stick my head out the window because it was so, I don't know what was going on. So once we got home, my mom, she told the driver, she was like, yeah, my daughter is having like some stomach issues. I think that lady started hitting 80 or 90 on that freeway. She was like, I'm about to get her out of my car. Mm-hmm. So we get home, probably not even a minute after we got home. Thankfully I made it to the bathroom, because when I tell you the floodgates of heaven opened, I don't even think that was heaven. I think that might have been hell. And I had to, my mom, they had to bring like a little, we have like the little mini box fans that can like kind of go in your window. Child, they had to bring the fan in the bathroom. I was going through it. I don't know what caused that, but I would go through that like once or twice every year. It hasn't happened in like a couple years, but probably like 3 years or so. But oof.
Same. I get up out the bed, like I get up out the bed, get overheated, and I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Come in, like come on. I know what's going on. Just come on. Let's go to bed. Back to bed. First, it comes out. Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
Hey, they know.
It comes out hard, and then all the soft stuff comes out after.
Right.
I'm just like, that's all you want. That's all you wanted to do, stomach. That's all.
Right.
And you couldn't do that.
Exactly. Without making my stomach hurt, make me feel like I'm dying.
You couldn't do that in the daytime.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that when I woke up. But yeah, I do have those incidents and don't like when they come.
Yeah. So do you calf, if you don't mind me asking?
I do. Yes, okay. I do calf myself.
So most of the time I can tell when I have to do number 2, but I can't stop it.
Yeah.
If it's gonna come, it's gonna come. So I'm like, I ain't trying to be out here, with all, because it's just having an accident with urine is one thing, but having an accident doing number 2, that's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I have like a couple people that I know with spina bifida, they've had that surgery. They have the MACE, I think that's what it's called, where they have I think they take it's kind of like the bladder surgery where they create a stoma or something, and they go like they put the saline in the little incision that they make in their belly button, and they put like soapy water or something, so it stimulates your bowels and it increases bowel movements, and they go that way. So they don't, I think most of them don't have to wear the pins because they can kind of control, when it happens. And I was supposed to have that surgery. Like when I was younger, they taught me about it. I was like, that don't sound right to me.
I've had enough surgeries. No, thank you.
Exactly.
How does your faith factor into you living with SB?